Intercontinental Sport TV back again with this week on Sports for Taste with this lady Euphoria in the building. I am telling you people, smash the like on the video if it is your first time. This is your first time watching this. What are you waiting for? Euphoria is here. She's here with a Sport for Taste this week. Come on people, smash the like on the video, subscribe, share this video. It's all about sports on this channel. April 17th, let's go. And it is what it is. Please smash the like on the video. Let's do this, people. You know what I'm talking about. All right.
Hello guys, welcome to another edition of Sport for Taste. How has your week been? It's been awesome for me. The weekend was awesome, last week was awesome. I had so much fun, and of course, if you've been a follower of this particular part of the broadcast, you know how much I love basketball. So basketball is into the playoffs, and of course that started full time this time around. We've had the playoffs begun on Saturday, like I mentioned last week during the previous edition of this show. Welcome to Sport for Taste. My name is Euphoria, and of course this is the show where we bring to you the preview of the sporting actions you should not be missing all through the week, and we give you everything you need to look forward to in the world of sports. And this week, like I will always say, will be no exception. So sit back while we give you what we have for you in tennis, in basketball, in football, and of course around the game of football. All of that packaged for you on this particular edition of the show. So let's dig into that particular one. Start from basketball, and that will be the NBA. Well, the NBA, like I said earlier on, is into the playoffs. That is the business part of the season, where we are looking to crown the champions of the conferences, the East and the West, and of course crown the champion of the NBA in totality. Well, right now we're in the group stages, and all through this week we'll be having games in the two conferences, where all the teams that are qualified for the conferences will continue games for this particular one. You know, it's the best of 6 or even 7, but as long as you can win, the first team to win the first 4 games in the series gets to the second round of the playoffs. That'll be the conference semi-finals of the playoffs. So let's get to see all the other teams that will be participating this week, because we have just 1 or 2 teams. We had just 4 teams that played the playoffs so far. As at this time of this broadcast, we had just 4 teams that played so far in both conferences. So we get to see other teams who have qualified. As remember that some certain teams have to play the play-ins to be able to qualify for the playoffs. So everyone is going to be looking forward to how this week will pan out. Not surprisingly, we might even get to see those that will finish their series this week, talking about the first round. Once you can win your first 4 games, you're into the next round of the competition, as you know it, and that's what we have for you in the NBA. Well, in tennis, we have ATP and the WTA. Last week, we didn't have a WTA tourney that had to begin last week, but this week we have a WTA that will be starting this particular week. And in the ATP we have the Barcelona Open, which is an ATP 500 event, and then we have the BMW Open, which is a ATP 250 event. In the WTA we have just the WTA 500, which is going to be the Porsche Open, and that's the WTA 500 event. So look out for your faves in that particular one in the build up to the next Grand Slam, which we'll be having, which will be in France. That will be the Roland Garros Open. All of this, you keep getting titles, you keep racking up points to make sure that you get to have a favorable drop when you get into the seedings for the Roland Garros Open that will be coming up very soon, later on this year. Let's move on to football, where on Tuesday, let's start from midweek football. Well, on Tuesday we'll be having the return leg, or the second leg of games we saw in the Champions League, in the Europa League. Well, in the Champions League, which will be our main focus, we saw games last week where we saw Real Madrid at home defeat Chelsea by 2-0. Well, this time around they'll be going to the Stamford Bridge on Tuesday for the return leg of that particular one, which is to be tomorrow. And also we have Inter Milan, who defeated Benfica by 2-0, will be at home to Benfica this time around to be able to solidify their chances of getting to the semi-finals. They are 1 leg into semi-finals already, but they will need to make sure that Benfica don't pull off a miracle in that particular particular one when they get to play them at the San Siro. Well, the other games we'll get to see this week in the Champions League will be the game between Napoli, who lost to Milan by 1-0 at the San Siro last week. Will be playing at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, which is the stadium or the home ground of Napoli. They're looking to overturn a 1-goal deficit when they play in AC Milan in that particular one. Remember, they lost by 1-0, and of course they were missing their main man, their main man, who since he has not played for them in the last 2 to 3 games, they've actually not gotten any result for themselves. Remember, they lost to AC Milan also in the league, a very, very embarrassing 4-0 defeat, and then of course now they've lost to AC Milan again in the Champions League, 1-0 last week in the Champions League. They're looking to overturn that particular one this week at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona in that particular one. And then the final game will be the one who have the highest number of deficits, the highest deficits in the Champions League so far. Talking about Bayern Munich, who will be at the Allianz Arena welcoming Manchester City, who defeated them at the Etihad Stadium last week by 3-0. It will be a very, very, very hard one for Thomas Tuchel and his boys to overturn at that particular arena. But of course, you know, this is football, and of course anything is possible in that one. Let's quickly move from that one to what we have in the league. Well, in the league we have, that's the EPL, we have a midweek game, which is a rescheduled game for match day 18. That will be the game between Manchester United versus Arsenal. I'm looking forward to that particular one. It is going to be one to look out for. So that will be the game between Manchester United and Arsenal. We'll be playing the rescheduled game of match day 18 in that one. Well, the weekend in the EPL has a lot of postponed games in that one, but we have the FA Cup in England this weekend to look forward to. We have the semi-finals of the FA Cup where we have Man City up against Sheffield United, and then Brighton and Hove Albion will be welcoming Manchester United. Looking at that one, let's go over to La Liga, where we have Real Madrid will be up against Celta Vigo. We also have Sevilla will be up against Valencia. Well, for obvious reasons, it's supposed to be a big tie in the La Liga. Where Valencia might not be doing so well. They might be in relegation battle, but of course, this is a big tie in the Spanish La Liga. And then the biggest game of the weekend in Spain will be the game between Barcelona and Atletico de Madrid. That will be the game at the Camp Nou Stadium this weekend. Let's move away from that one. Let's go to the Ligue 1, where we have Paris Saint-Germain will be going to Angers to be able to try to rack up points, and of course, you know what they do, try to solidify their place, and of course try to win the Ligue 1 this time around. So this time around they'll be away at Angers, and they'll be looking to get all 3 points. A hot and cold Paris Saint-Germain has been so far this season for a lot of people. Let's see what they'll be able to do in this particular one. Well, in the Bundesliga, the Bundesliga should be looking more like a very, very tough battle right now because of how hot and cold Bayern Munich has been blowing since they got the appointment of Thomas Tuchel done and dusted. Well, they've been losing games, they've been drawing some, they've been losing some, they've been winning some. They won against Borussia Dortmund, they won against Freiburg, they lost to Manchester City in the Champions League. On and off, they got knocked out of the DFB Pokal by Frankfurt. Of that, well, they'll be up against Mainz 05 away at Mainz 05 this weekend, and of course the big one in Germany, that will be the game between Borussia Dortmund and Eintracht Frankfurt. In that particular one, that will be at that Borussia Dortmund's ground. In that particular one, the Signal Park, that one will be. And if you are a lover of African football, well, there's a lot of African football for you this week. You won't want to miss that particular one. Let's start from the CAF Confederations Cup and the CAF Champions League. Will make a return this weekend, where we'll be having the first leg of the quarterfinals of both competitions. So your teams are playing this weekend. Please look forward to those teams, and of course get the best of African football from both the CAF Confederations Cup and the CAF Champions League. In the MPFL, there are big games to look forward to also. If you're the lover of the MPFL, we have the game that will be in that will be the game between Eimba and Remo Stars, of course. course, you know how tough it is right now. That will be match day 15 encounter this weekend. How tough it is at the top of the summit in that particular group, and how many, that's the group of death. A lot of people tag that group to be Group A of the 2022-2023 MPFL Abridged League Group A in that particular one. Well, we look forward to this game, and of course the other one will be the game between Plateau United and Nasarawa United. It is tagged by some as the Bende Plateau Derby. Some tag it as the Mid-Belt Derby, or whatever derby you want to target as, but their neighbors, Nasarawa United and Plateau United. And of course, Nasarawa United has been playing in Jos, which is the capital city of Plateau State, where Plateau United is the home team. You know, this is a lot of rivalry, a lot to look forward to in the MPFL in that particular one. So you look forward to those ones too, and of course, we look forward to having you have a very, very spontaneous, a very, very loving sporting week in the world of sports this time around. So of course, if you've not subscribed to the channel, remember what you do. Subscribe to this channel, and of course like this video. Drop your comments on what will be your highlights this sporting week, and remember that of course try to enjoy your week, try to stay out of trouble, and of course remember to tune in when next you get a notification, because once you subscribe and you turn the notification button, you get notified whenever we have videos like this for you on this channel. Thank you so much. I'm Euphoria, and it's over to you for the rest of the show.
Yes. Thank you, Euphoria. One love. ISTV Sport for Taste this week with the lady herself, Euphoria. Until same time next week, people. Smash the like on the video. You don't want to signing out. You know, Euphoria already signed out. Thank you so much, people. Bye for now.